Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm here with Centaur and Sam. We're doing another Attack on Titan breakdown, obviously. I mean, should be pretty apparent by now. But anyway, this episode was, again, it wasn't like too heavy on content, but it was more exposition.
Very character driven.
Yeah,
Very
it was
character.
like character development.
Very character based.
There's a big like a big character development for Annie. A bit of I guess you could say Connie looks like he's fallen to the dark side a little bit. But
well, anyway, we start off with the aftermath in a sense with the rumbling. We see houses being collapsed.
Yeah, we see people getting murdered by the fucking colossal titans.
Yeah. And you see Hitch basically and the other the rest of the military trying to help the injured and whatnot. And it's a good callback to season 1 because Hitch was doing that right after with the Annie versus Eren fight. So she's basically doing the same thing again. She's been doing
the same shit different day, basically.
Yeah,
but just on a bigger scale.
Later on that references how she constantly just has to pick up after the Titans and just study people being destroyed. But yeah, she's just helping people. And I think she goes down. She goes into where Annie...
Well, before that,
you see the citizens arguing. Eren's not on our side. He's killing individuals, and you see one of the women's Eren caused this. He killed my son, or he killed my son, or trust our home, something like that, along those lines.
It was like a dichotomy between because it's I think this is like sort of the tinderbox effect, I guess you could say, where it's like a few sparks would start a civil war now because of what's happened. Yeah. Because there's one half.
One person is very he's very much like, Eren sacrificed everything for us. He's murdered these people for us. But the whole group, the whole crowd, comes to the agreement that they all start yelling.
Not the whole crowd, not the whole crowd. Because you see in the background,
a majority of them.
You see in the background they start fighting. That's what I'm saying. It's like the tinderbox effect. There's a group of people that are heavily against what Eren is doing. There's a group of people that are heavily for what Eren's doing.
Yeah. And then you see, I think Hitch goes into the basement, and then she notices that there's liquid coming from Annie's
towards it.
Liquid footprints that she follows.
Yeah.
And
Annie basically jukes her because she puts the footprints forward, but then she hides behind the door. She jukes her, but it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, Hitch walks into the room and Annie kind of just grabs her, but then Hitch is too strong for her. Hitch kind of.
Well, it's not that she's too strong for her, as opposed to Annie's too weak now.
Well, I mean, she's too strong because Annie's weak. So that still counts as being too strong. But she flips over, holds her, but then Annie kind of threatens her with transforming into. We think it's bluff. She bluffs her basically.
She 100% bluffs her.
Yeah. She says, I'm going to turn to the Titan. Hitch goes, you're too weak. And he goes, okay then, that's up to you.
Yeah, we may as well fight. But I think, it's also Hitch is really kind of reminiscing, I guess, because she's still their friend in a sense.
Yeah, she's still her friend. And I think she also accepted, Annie's no more of a threat than the fucking colossal Titans are. That's what
it's
she's might as well let her go, and she's not going to do any more damage than currently is.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the worst has been done already, so
what's it gonna change?
It's essentially the end of the world at this point, so it's kind of they don't know what the fuck to do at this point. But so we get that whole showdown because there's someone knocking on the door, and then it cuts to Hitch and Annie in the barn with the horses, which obviously shows that she didn't sell her out. But what ends up happening is Hitch and Annie get on a horse and they start riding away, I guess.
Yeah. Well, right before that, Annie mentions that she actually knows things out. She mentioned that I'll talk about her. She said to her because Hitch always complains about her love life, I guess, to Annie, and Annie basically violates her.
She could reveal she could hear everything that's going on while we thought she was comatose.
It was our theory. It was kind of our theory because it's people who are comatose, because it's pretty much exactly how it was, because people who are comatose are they can hear the voices of people almost like in the distance, like that's how it feels like, which is exactly how Annie described it. Where
so
exactly.
She talks about how she could get Armin and her, and while they're riding together, because they ride off, Annie starts telling Hitch about her life as a child.
Backstory,
Her backstory, and Hitch complains. Annie goes, "Oh, I heard you talk about your love life for years, so just listen to me for a little while." So but then we go into Annie's background. It's things we had to learn before about her as a child, how she was half Malayan.
Half
similar
Malayan,
to
half
Reiner.
Eldian, which is exactly like Reiner. Reiner is also half Malayan, half Eldian. Just I think the opposite direction. Whereas it was like thingy, Reiner's dad was a Malayan. Reiner's Annie's mum was a Malayan. But she's picked up by some guy who was like sent to the intermittent zone from wherever on Yonkapong is from, because he's the same like skin tone or whatever. But he was sent to the intermittent zone, where he picked up Annie, and then it was said like from like ever since he seemed like kind of a dick, because all he was doing was teaching how to fight
and beating her up every time. Like he said, pretty much beating her until she could fight back.
Yeah.
We see eventually she learns to fight back and she beats the shit out of this guy, which, fair enough.
I mean, it is what it is at that point. Yeah, I guess. But so she kind of, once she gets strong enough, she beats the shit out of him. But it turns out like he wasn't doing it to make his own kind of self better, because he's happy when she does it to him, because it's like he said like, now you can defeat your enemies with your bare hands. So it's kind of like almost in like a roundabout way, it was like him trying to protect her or make sure she is protected from the world or whatever. Then after that, I think then we get to
they can't wait for a while. They can't wait to Armin and Miksa, right? Currently,
I believe just before we cut away, we get to the the present time intermittent zone, where all the Eldians are trying to tell Malayan soldiers like, bruh, we saw some shit, man. We saw my fucking vision. Eren Yeager's coming for us, and they're just not believing them.
Yeah, they don't believe in them. They think they're like forming a coup d'etat or something. They're just trying to escape. And then obviously Annie's dad is leading the charge, trying to say, no, we all had this like dream, like come on, leave it.
Go back quickly. We missed the part before Annie left. She explains her like meaning, and the father says like, "Come back to me," with quite emotion.
Yeah,
and it explains like her motive pretty much. It's just to get back to her dad. That's her whole.
She basically had a very nihilistic / cynical view of life, but then when her dad
before she left to come to paradise.
Yeah, but then when her dad was like, "Oh no, you must return to me," she finally got like a meaning for herself.
Yeah.
And
then we cut back to him, where he tries to like fight a guard because they're trying to get like on the guard about to run in, and it appears as though he attempts to tackle a guard and gets shot. So
here's kind of the thing. Why I think Annie might switch sides to Eren Yeager and them, man. She was never doing what she was doing for the sake of Marley. She was doing it essentially for her adoptive parent. But he kind of like at the end, when he was having that conversation with Annie and saying like, "Come back to me," they don't show it, but I think you can kind of infer that he's like denounced sort of his original view of Marley. Like he doesn't like them anymore. He hates them, I guess you could say. Well, we don't know that, so I'm just speculating. But what I think it is like he was kind of saying like, I was wrong before about trying to train you to be an honorary Malayan and a whatever they call them. What do they call them? Like candidates?
Yeah, soldier candidates. Just tying candidates basically.
He kind of like denounces that original idea, and he wanted her to stop. Like, don't do it. But she obviously had she'd already become a Titan shifter at that point, and she was about to go. I believe that's why like she couldn't, like stop now, because she would have just died anyway.
Yeah.
But I think what it was that's why maybe there's a possibility she changes sides just to like, because it's like it was never about Marley for her. Where with Reiner, it was kind of Reiner, even Gabby, Falco, Porco's brother when they went there. Zeke had a different motive, I guess you could say, but like it was like most of them, even Peak, her motive is her friends, and her friends' motives are basically Marley. So It's kind of like they all had a reason to.
I don't know.
Back Marley except her.
I think Eren is sort of just acting on his own accord right now. I don't think anyone will really side with with Flock. Yeah, I don't think. But anyway, going on to sidetracking. Anyway, going on to the episode. Basically, we flash to Armin and Mikasa. Armin's having a chat. Basically, they're just discussing how futile the situation is.
Mikasa's saying, "What should we do about Eren?" and like asking Armin questions. And Armin has quite the outburst where he's just like, nothing really matters because he's already planning on going. He's planning to go after Connie. That's what he's talking about at the start. And he just pretty much says to Mikasa, like, nothing matters right now. Do what you want. Don't listen to anybody.
Well, it's kind of like he doesn't say nothing matters. I think what he's saying is more over like the fact that
do what you want. That's what he says. Do what you want. Do what you
think. He says think for yourself, which is But it's also, I think, like the main point. Not the main point of that conversation, but the point of that conversation was kind of like, Eren is actually. He says this in his own words. Eren is too far gone. Eren is too like the whole idea of stopping Eren is such an inconceivable feat, considering how powerful he is now. There's no point even thinking about it. They need to do what they can to help, like now with on fucking ground zero. Eren is doing his own shit. He's gonna finish the rumbling.
Yeah, because what Armin's focusing on doing at the moment, he's kind of discussed this, is he's focusing on after the rumbling and like getting everyone together because he wants Gabby to be on his side and trust him, so that they can stop the continuation of like fighting for the Titans and fighting for the Titan shift compatibility. So he wants Peak, and we find out Markiplier is alive later. He wants them to kind of side with him, and so there's no more war. So that's why he's primarily going to get Falco and save Falco. So Gabby will trust him. He can use Gabby to kind of be like, "Oh, be on our side."
Yeah, Armin's sort of realizing there's no point in further bloodshed because, what's happened is happened now. The rumblings that happened. He's probably just focusing on the.
I kind of had a thought. So it was said that Eren can I guess the founding Titan can like change the bodies of Eldians who for example like stop disease. What might happen as like near the end, I guess, to even just dash that prospect of infighting because of the Titan powers, Eren could stop all Eldians having the ability to turn into Titans in the first place. So then by virtue you can't become a shifter either. And then eventually,
that is a possibility.
That's a possibility.
Anyway, after that scene, we go to Flock. Is it Flock? Yeah. Flock and John and John in the room with John. I can't speak, but he's in the room with other people. Is this before we?
No. This was the right scene. Basically, he's with Yelena and the rest of the Restorationists. Well, not the Restoration and Yelena as well. And he's basically, in quotation marks, setting an example, like telling them you can't speak back to, like, basically there was this one guy from Yelena's like disagreeing with what Flock's thingy is. He's like, oh, you have to agree to us. This is the new Eldian Empire. You have to join or die.
He basically doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, and he chose to die with pride.
They basically, so he killed that guy, and then it was a very interesting thing. Flock says, first and foremost, actually, Flock says like, "This is freedom," but then he also says, to like straight away to the volunteers, he says like, "Is it not better to submit and live than to die than to die in pride?" Which is literally the exact opposite of what Eren believes. Which is funny because he literally says like, "Oh, I speak for Eren Yeager," which is dumb.
He says that Eren told him about all of this was going to happen.
Yeah, but it's so much. He's chatting so much shit. This fucking guy, he's chatting so much shit, and he's gonna get what's coming to him. I can already smell it, or I can feel it. He's gonna get what's coming to him. But at the moment, unfortunately, not. Yelena's in fucking distress. She's not even speaking. But then and
then you see, and he also mentions like a good thing to Jean. He was telling, Jean, like, you can go back to being
who you were before,
a
like,
military police. Yeah.
But then Sean looks over to Onyonkopong and he's kind of like, no, I guess you can say like it shows maturity and growing as a character, because it's like, whereas before he would have accepted that deal, but now he's like, no, I can't, because I must.
Yeah, moreover on that, I think it's also the fact that he can also see that it's the exact same
as what
situation that he
Onyonkopong and the group are what the whole of Paradise Island is, kind of like, and he kind of wants to stop the cycle of like just taking people's freedom.
Yeah, it's like same shit, different toilet, basically.
Yeah. Same with like Armin as well. Going back to that. Anyway, and then after this, I think we get to
pretty much the end where we cut to
the end,
Bonnie and
we
Falco.
Missed one scene. We missed one scene with the commander guy.
Oh yeah, it was very small. Yeah. It was the trainer. Well, all he was saying was to the young military was like, do what they say for now, but
he was kind of going together. He's kind of going, you have to submit to survive, so you can fight another time, fight another day,
and then rise back,
like in the introductions.
Yeah. But then eventually, then we cut to Connie and Falco on the horse. Falco is awake. He doesn't have his memory. He can't remember what happened after he doesn't know the rumbling is starting, assuming he can't see the Titans. He doesn't know the rumbling's happening.
Connie's told him that he's helping him and that he's taking him to safety.
Yeah, to a hospital.
To a hospital. Yeah, that's it.
Obviously, this is not true.
Connie's just gaslighting him, basically.
The thing is, it's really funny as well, because obviously in the Paradise Island world, there are no hospitals, because like the whole like medical industry is like far behind. But obviously Falco doesn't really know that yet, so it's a really good lie on Connie's part.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, there were no such thing as hospitals. There were just doctors, like Aaron's dad.
We see from Connie's thoughts, because we hear his thoughts. So he's gonna run away anyway, or go back to Gabby and Colt, because he says, "I need to get back to Gabby and Colt." So there's a chance that he may run away, even though he doesn't know Connie's intentions of feeding him to his mother.
Yeah.
So
and Connie's intentions are to feed him to his mother. He's pretty solidly set on that for that moment.
I think we see a moment of doubt where he's like, "Oh, I don't want to do this."
Yeah, I think we see a moment of doubt, and also right after that, we see the ending scene where you see Peek and Magath like in the forest, and you see Hanji
alongside a very harmless individual that has just happened to be damaged. He's definitely very harmless. Nothing wrong with this guy.
We see Levi in a coma.
We see Levi.
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting to see him like that, but at least he's alive.
He's been nerfed pretty hard. But yeah, good episode. I can't wait for the next episode's gonna be fun with the conflict between Armin and Connie and Gabby and all that stuff. That'll be fun. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you for watching, and catch us in the next episode. Bye.